Blake Lively's legal complaint against Justin Baldoni is getting more interesting.
Yeah, this case seems really weird. That guy does not seem like a good dude whatsoever.
In documents filed with the California Civil Rights Department and obtained by E! News on December 21st, the actress accuses her It Ends With Us director and co-star of sexually harassing her on the set of their movie.
You know, like when you can tell that a guy sexually harasses women, he just has that vibe about him, and it's not a good vibe. He just has douchebag vibes. You just want to slap him against the face, not even punch him. He's not even man enough to be punched. You just want to bait slap him.
And then later working to try to destroy her reputation in retaliation after she raised her concerns about him to their production team.
Yeah, Blake Lively seems like the type of woman that doesn't take crap from any man. You know she wears the pants in that relationship with Ryan Reynolds. I first caught my eyes on Blake Lively about 10, 15 years ago, going on 15 years ago, during the Tiger Woods case. She played Elin in the press conference with Keenan, and it was good SNL. She looked so hot in that commercial, or that skit, rather.
Blake alleges in her filing that Justin and his publicist worked with a crisis PR expert to launch a, quote, retaliation campaign against her. The complaint includes copies of alleged text conversations from them in which they discuss tactics to suppress any negative reports about the director.
Yeah, that happens a lot in the business, especially radio. You always got this one man in power. There's always that one guy in any building. I'm about to whip somebody's ass. There's always that one guy in that building that's untouchable, that treats everybody badly, but they bring in money, so it's all that matters.
While reinforcing negative ones about the actress. In one text, the actor shared a person's unverified August 4th social media post that alleges Hailey Bieber has a, quote, history of bullying many women.
Well, we need to discuss the fact that Hailey Bieber ruined the relationship of Justin and Selena. So a woman who's a homewrecker, I wouldn't be surprised if she's a bitch.
Telling his publicist, quote, this is what we would need. Blake's legal complaint includes a document allegedly from Justin's PR team that lays out strategies on how to protect the director's reputation should the actress and her team, quote, make her grievances public. And one section includes tactics to use if her husband Ryan Reynolds came forward in her defense.
I feel like Ryan probably has some sort of, and I'm just guessing here, but like some sort of like relationship with the guy, maybe where they've done something in the past, because we've heard nothing from him. But knowing my luck, in about 5 hours after this podcast is released, Ryan will write some statement, and then people will be listening to this in past tense and be like, Ryan, what are you talking about?
In addition to avoiding, quote, direct engagement if this happened, the document also notes that, quote, as part of this, our team can also explore planting stories about the weaponization of feminism and how people in BL's circle like Taylor Swift have been accused of utilizing these tactics to bully into getting what they want.
Well, it's not a bad point. There are feminists that weaponize it. Too much of anything is bad. I believe in female rights, but sometimes I think like if females are so feministic that they start hating men and they become, you know, sexist against men, the same thing can happen to heterosexual people. I went to a gay pride parade 3 years ago, going on 3 years ago, the day after the abortion was overturned by the Supreme Court. And I went with my ex-girlfriend who's bisexual, more into women than men, to be honest. I don't really care anymore. But what I'm saying is, all these people were saying I was a part of the problem because I'm heterosexual. That was sexist against heteros.
In the same document, Justin's PR crisis management team allegedly proposed that if Blake hinted at her, quote, experience working with him in the press, and a reporter reached out for comment, and it was obvious she was indeed referring to the director, that, quote, speculation can be turned to another one of the many people she's had issues working with in the past.
Also, she's had many people that she had a hard time working with. One has to wonder if maybe it's Blake. If you have a habit of not getting along with other people, but it's everybody else's fault, you might be the problem.
3 actors are named as examples: fellow Gossip Girl alum Leighton Meester, Anna Kendrick, who starred with Blake in A Simple Favor, and Heard the Town director and co-star Ben Affleck. E! News has reached out for comment. Did they hear back? Maybe they did. Maybe we can give them a round of applause for hearing back. Let's see. E! News reached out for comment. I'm going to guess has not heard back. But hey, they say it in every video. Maybe they heard back this time. Ben Affleck. E! News has reached out to Justin's PR team and all the celebs named in the complaint, but has not yet heard back.
They reached out to all the celebs. Every single one of them. And none of them responded. Oh, E! News.
There are new developments in the ongoing rift between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. On December 21st, according to the New York Times, citing exec Ari Emanuel, Justin's talent agency WME has dropped the actor as a client following Blake's legal complaint of sexual harassment.
This is not looking good for him. If you get dropped, that means there's some truth to it.
E! News has reached out to Justin's team and WME for comment, but has not yet heard back.
I love it. They keep reaching out. Hey, E! News. This is honestly making my day. I've been so grumpy all day. Hearing about E! News reaching out twice for comments.
Reached out to Justin's team and WME for comment, but has not yet heard back.
I can imagine interns in like the press room. I'm sure it's just 4 people that work at E! News because all the big companies are just laying people off and having people do 7 jobs for 1 pay. But I bet let's imagine there's like a newsroom for E! News and they're like, we got to reach out to this person. And all the responses.
Meanwhile, the Gossip Girl alum remains a client of the agency per deadline.
This is interesting.
On December 21st, the New York Times reported that Blake filed legal documents alleging that her It Ends With Us director and co-star engaged in, quote, sexually inappropriate behavior on the set of the film. And
spanking ass on her.
Later used a crisis PR expert to launch a smear campaign against her after she complained about him to their co-producers of the movie.
All right, so there's that news clip. And then we'll play this.
Justin Baldoni is speaking out following Blake Lively's allegations of sexual harassment on It Ends With Us.
Okay, before I play the clip of him speaking out and defending himself, the way he responds will really tell how guilty he is and how guilty he might not be. Why will it tell? If it's a very bland corporate / lawyered up response, guilty. If it's a little more personalized, he has a chance to not be so guilty.
After the Gossip Girl alum accused Justin of sexual harassment, alleging he created a hostile work environment on the set of the film and later took part in a campaign against her, according to a legal complaint obtained by E! News on December 21st, the actor's attorney Brian Friedman is now releasing a statement about these, quote, outrageous claims. As Friedman tells the New York Times, it is shameful that Miss Lively and her representatives would make such serious and categorically false accusations against Mr. Baldoni, Wayfarer Studios, and its representatives. Justin's lawyer goes on to call Blake's allegations in the complaint, quote, yet another desperate attempt to fix her negative reputation, which was garnered from her own remarks and actions during the campaign for the film, interviews and press activities that were observed publicly in real time and unedited, which allowed for the internet to generate their own views and opinions.
All right, I'm leaning in the middle of he might not be as guilty as she's making it out to be. If it was a short statement, then maybe you go, I don't know, he might have done it. But the way they went at her in that response, I mean, people might not want to work with her again. I wouldn't want to work with her. She seems so wishy-washy. Maybe it's because of your failed career, Blake. Do you ever wonder about that?
The statement continues, these claims are completely false, outrageous, and intentionally salacious with an intent to public hurt and rehash a narrative in the media.
But can you imagine if a man did that to a woman? He'd be deemed sexist, and he'd be deemed he's going against the man, or going against the woman, rather. But when a woman does it, oh, you're a warrior. going against the man with baseless claims at best. Get the hell out of here. I'm not saying he's a good dude, but that statement that lawyer wrote, he's in gangster mode.
Friedman says that Wayfarer Studios, quote, made the decision to proactively halt multiple demands and threats by Miss Lively, which included her threatening to not show up to set, threatening to not promote the film, ultimately leading to its demise during release if her demands were not met. In her own statement to the New York Times, Blake says, quote, I hope that my legal action helps pull back the curtain on these sinister retaliatory tactics to harm people who speak up about misconduct.
All right, here's the moral of the story. Blake's a bitch, she's hard to work with, and that guy's a dick. And you have them work together, and it's two Hollywood asswipes that think they're better than us. Screw both of you.
Happy Hour. Happy Hour.